Now let's go back to our question and answer portion. Okay. Ayan. So speaking of law from AFMA, no? So this question talks about another law. So this law provides every Filipino citizen to acquire at least 24 hectares of land during American regime. Okay. Is it A, AFMA, B, Homestead Law, C, Torrance Act, D, Decentralization Act? What do you think? Any wild guess? May nagsabing A, B. Nasabi dito at least 24 hectares of land. Okay? Hindi ko na lang sinali na meron to siyang parang condition. Now, ano bang batas na ito? The answer actually is letter B. It's the Homestead Law. No? Binigyan ng karapatan ang Filipino citizen na ma-acquire yung at least 24 hectares of land of a certain condition. Dapat matagal na silang naninirahan and meron silang parang, 'di ba sila yung naninirahan or nag-cultivate ng soil dito while the owner is not, I mean, they're gonna give a portion of their harvest to the owner. It could be like 70 or 30%. Depende. So parang meron dapat nag-exist na scheme or sharing scheme between the owner and the farmer who cultivates the land para ma-acknowledge na pwede siyang ma-acquire at least 24 hectares of land. Okay? So that's the Homestead Law. Now, what about the Torrance Act? Yes, tama po Sir Carl. Dapat they cultivate the land sa Homestead Law. Hindi yung basta-basta nag-a-apply ka para makakuha ng lupa. Hindi. Sa Torrance Act, dito na nabuo kung bakit meron na tayong mga titulo ng lupa. So they developed, these developed the land registration system. We call it Torrance Act. While for Decentralization Act, okay, si Homestead Law kasi at Torrance Act, nagawa to during American regime. While Decentralization Act, after na to, bale, tayo-tayo na yun. But we are influenced man by our mga nag-invade sa atin. So, through Decentralization Act, the provincial governments have their own extension services. So, di ba, na-create yung Bureau of Agriculture. Mostly, nasa national lang. I'm not sure if meron din sa regional, but through decentralization, nabigyan na ng pansin yung sa baba, yung local government units na magkaroon na sila ng mga agricultural technicians kasi nga sila yung mismong nakakausap ng farmer at malapit. So hanggang ngayon, we still have, that's why we have Municipal Agriculture Office. No, it's part of the Decentralization Act. Okay, so meron na silang own extension service. All right. So that's it for question number 4. Let's move on for question number 5. So this is the period of rude awakening during his reign. No? Is it A, Manuel L. Quezon, B, Jose P. Laurel, C, Manuel A. Rojas, D, Elpidio Quirino? Sabi niya, this is the period of rude awakening. Rude awakening means na-realize, it was like a realization na hindi pala enough yung food na ginagawa or pinoproduce ng ating farmers if gusto nating pakainin lahat ng Filipino citizen. It's not sufficient. So siya yung naka-realize. We call it rude awakening. The answer is, sabi may A, si Manuel L. Quezon, si P. Laurel. The correct answer is C, Jose P. Laurel. I'm not sure, but Manuel L. Quezon, di ba, is siya yung pinaka-first president. Then next, si Jose P. Laurel. Si Manuel L. Quezon kasi after World War II, nag-focus siya on soil testing. Kasi nga, grabing mga chemicals, di ba, mga bombs, no? Tinest muna niya kung how to recover. So more on soil testing. Si Jose P. Laurel, doon na siya na yung nagkaroon ng realization na hindi pala sapat yung ating tinatanim. So from then on, meron tayong next. Ito, the president who encouraged the people to patronize and promote Filipino-made products. Is it A, Diosdado Macapagal, B, Jose P. Laurel, C, Carlos P. Garcia, D, Elpidio Quirino? Is it C, D? The clue here is Filipino-made products. So, Filipino first policy. Kay Carlos P. Garcia. Kasi paano natin ma-attain yung self-sufficiency, or let's say for example, rice sufficiency, if hindi naman natin pinapatronize yung mga local products. No? So, kaya pinopromote ni Carlos P. Garcia. Next question. It's the massive distribution of modern packages, modern packages of technology, including inorganic fertilizers, pesticides, and high-yielding varieties. Is it A, Masagana 99, B, Ginintuang Masaganang Ani, C, Hybrid Rice Commercialization Program, or D, all of the above? Alright. Ang tamang sagot, it's Masagana 99. Don't forget, pag may sinabing massive distribution, diba? Nangyari ito sa kapanahonan ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Kasi nga, we depend on, ang goal natin doon is matugunan yung demand at maging globally competitive tayo. So, minax out natin yung capacity ng crop production na ma-hit natin yung optimal production. Yung nangyari, after 10 years, hanggang ngayon, tayo pa rin yung nagsasuffer kasi yung dati healthy yung soil natin, hanggang ngayon, ang hirap ma-recover kasi halos lahat ng soil is acidic na. Pag acidic yung soil, konti lang yung crops na suitable, na pwede nating tamnan. Kaya hanggang ngayon, meron pa rin tayong mga nilalagay na mga fertilizers para maging optimal pa rin yung growth ng pananim. But in the long run, hopefully ma-recover natin kasi the more we apply fertilizers or inorganic chemical or fertilizers and chemicals, the more maging acidic yung soil, maglilas na yung mga organisms na pwedeng makatulong sa ating production. Now, what about Ginintuang Masaganang Ani? Okay? Si Masaganang Ani, yung goal nito is modernization of agriculture. It was from the program itself, Ginintuang Ani, it's GMA, so si former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, yung nagsimula ng programang ito para mag-provide ng countrywide assistance, kaya meron ng mga livelihood assistance na binibigay sa ating farmers or kung anyone na gustong mag-agriculture. Okay? And also, same with the Hybrid Rice Commercialization Program. Si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo din yung nag-develop ng program na ito, na yung goal is to be sufficient sa rice or rice self-sufficiency. Pero hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin natin ma-achieve. 'Di ba? Kung naririnig niyo sa mga balita, we're still importing rice from Vietnam and other countries. So, hopefully, ma-realize din itong program na ito. Alright. So, next question tayo. He approved the use of biotechnology in the Philippines. Is it A, Ferdinand Marcos Sr., B, Corazon Aquino, C, Joseph Estrada, D, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo? Okay. Ano yung wild guess nyo? Is it D, A? No. Ito yung president na akala nyo wala siyang na-contribute in agriculture, pero meron pa. Diba? So, the answer is C, former President Joseph Estrada. Now, Coach, ano ba yung biotechnology? Si biotechnology, simple lang, it's the use of living organisms to make or modify a product or improve. So, ang best example dito is yung BT corn or tinatawag natin, yes, Bacillus thuringiensis corn. Okay? Please take note kasi si BT corn, widely used pa rin siya natin hanggang ngayon, no? Yes, meron din aerobic rice. So, it was the Philippines. We are the first country in Asia to approve a GM crop, which is the BT corn. Ano yung BT corn? So, si BT corn, instead na, ano siya, resistant siya sa mga corn borer. Kasi at that time, corn, napaka-massive ng destruction or ng, anong tawag nito? Yes, massive destruction talaga yung corn borer. Wala pang nakakitang gamot or ini-spray. Yes, resistant on pest and weather-related disease din itong BT corn. Kaya si BT corn, ginawa yung DNA niya, in-improve para maging resistant siya. So hanggang ngayon, kahit may corn borer, hindi siya inaatake. Hindi rin siya need ng massive fertilizer, but uh, pesticide kasi the corn itself is resistant na. So it's a big help for our corn farmers. Now, through biotechnology, we also have developed drought-resistant varieties. Meron ding golden rice, no? Kung nakakita kayo ng golden rice, it's a yellow rice. Kasi nga, in-improve yung DNA niya na magkaroon siya ng vitamin A kasi nakitaan na halos lahat or lahat tayo dito mga Pinoy, lack of vitamin A. So to address vitamin A deficiency, in-improve yung rice para dun na may source of vitamin A na tayo, which is in the golden rice. So those are just examples of biotechnology. Okay? Next question. Okay pa ba? Alright. So, since we're done with like sa mga history, let's proceed on the crop science itself, the introduction. So generally, crops are classified for order and organization, such as herbs, vines, shrubs, and trees are classified according to their blank. Is it A, mode of reproduction, B, life cycle, C, special type, D, growth habit? Yan, may sumugot na natin D, growth habit. Sabi A, mode of reproduction. The clue here is sabi, herbs, vines, shrubs, and trees. So ano yung common nila? Common nila. The answer is, they are classified according to their growth habit. Okay? Now, we're talking about classification of crops. There are actually 4. No? Ginawa ito para mas easier ng mga botanist na mag-identify ng mga tanim in the actual fields, no? At para mabilis din nating ma-identify yung kung anong klase or anong crop ito. So when we say according to growth habit, ito yung mga herbs, is the plant an herb, vine, shrubs, and trees. Pag sinabing herbs, ito yung mga succulent plants, yung mga soft stems, like mga basil, yan. Yung mga, ano pa bang mga herbs? Is dill, yan yung mga herbs. Vines, yan yung mga succulent or woody without self-supporting system. Yan yung gumagapang. So, while on the other hand, shrubs, no? Para siyang mini puno, several main branches, but it has no trunk like trees. And of course, hindi siya tumataas kagaya ng puno. Okay? Now, tama si Sir Carl, if we're going to classify crops naman under the life cycle, we have annual, biennials, perennials. Okay, so for annual, meaning yearly, biennials, meaning, it's 2. Bi is 2. So it requires 2 years or at least man lang part of dalawang growing season niya is makakomplete siya in 2 years. When we say perennials, hindi agad namamatay yung tanim after flowering stage. So it lives for many years, so more than 2 years. Kagaya ng mga fruit trees, yan, mga dalandan, ano pa ba, mangustin, rambutan, yung mga perennial plants. So it lives more than 2 years. Okay? Now, when we say, according to mode of reproduction, dalawang klase lang yan. Is the plant in a sexual or asexual mode yung reproduction niya? And of course, lastly, meron tayong mga special types. When we say parasite or parasitic crops, yung mga pitcher plants, yan yung mga examples nito. No? So they are parasitic. Well, epiphytes, yung mga grow on the, like for example, orchid, they grow on another plant but they are not being parasitic. So nag-grow lang sila para meron silang makapitan. So grow upon other plants but not parasitic. Well, saprophytes, ito, they grow on decaying matter. So mga sapro. Alright? So yan yung 4 na classification ng crops natin. Next, number 10. It's a type of crop known for its enlarged roots or tuberous roots. Is it A, forage, B, legumes, C, root crops, D, grain crops? Okay. Yes, the correct answer is root crops. Now, these choices are actually classifying crops based on their purpose. Coach, ano yung forage crops? It's a use for roughage source for animals. Yes, for animal use. No? While for legumes, for pods and seeds. No? Yung forage crops, yun yung pinapakain natin sa hayop. Legumes, pinapakain din natin. No, they serve as protein, but most likely kinakain din natin ito, no, like mga peanuts, mung beans, tama po. Root crops, grain crops grown for their grains. Example nito is yung rice, corn, yan yung mga grain crops natin. So there are a lot more of this type, actually 14, ito lahat, if we are going to classify crops based on their purpose. So, yan yung lahat ng yan. Diba? Now, let's move on. Next question. This is a type of crop used for landscaping purposes. Is it A, sugar crops, B, legumes, C, root crops, D, ornamentals? Parang magta-top 1 to si Sir Carla. Lahat tama. Okay. So, the correct answer, no? Ang easy lang kasi pag sinabing landscaping, of course, ornamentals yung nire-refer natin. Diba? ACP measure po. Okay. So, manifesting po tayong lahat makakapasa at magiging top. Diba? So, there's nothing impossible naman. So, well, for sugar crops, guys, peaches, yun yung mga sugar canes. Okay? Hindi matatamis, diba na crops? Alright. Proceed tayo. Ito. So, any crop that is grown to protect the main crop from pests by attracting. What do you call this crop? Is it A, catch crop, B, trap crop, C, cover crop, or D, all of the above? Ayan. Any wild guess? C, B? Yes, the keyword here, to protect. Wait, nawala yung laser niya. To protect the main crop from pest. Right? Now, the correct answer is, it's a trap crop. So, to protect. Parang nagsisilbing sacrificial lamb yung crop na ito kasi siya yung, instead na matake yung main crop, siya yung kinain ng mga pests. Ano itong catch crop? Kasi parang parehas lang, di ba? Parehas lang. Catch crop, trap crop. Si catch crop kasi, yan, it's a short season crop grown immediately after the failure of main crop to utilize residual resources. So ito yung ginagawa ng mga farmers natin. Let's say for example, 'di ba, recently na ano tayo ng typhoon, let's say Typhoon Uwan. Ayan, nag-bow down na yung mga rice natin. So para mas magamit pa yung rice kahit hindi pa siya, let's say na-damage na yung rice, but we can still plant on that para yung nutrients coming from the rice leaves, no, mapupunta sa crops natin. But of course, short season crop lang. Like mga pechay, yan, pwede yung gawing catch crop para at least may makuhanan pa tayo ng cash, no? Catch crop. Well, for cover crop, yan, it's any crop grown to provide soil cover. So, the main reason talaga ng cover crop is to prevent soil erosion and of course, makontrol yung weeds. Yan yung kaibahan ng catch crop, trap crop, and cover crop.